So today we're going to be talking about what a forgivable loan is. If you meet the requirements for the SBA under the PPP or the EIDL, let's focus more on the PPP. You're going to have certain requirements, and if you don't meet those requirements, then the loan will be non-forgivable. So what does that really mean? So say that you borrow $100,000 from the SBA or the bank that's backed by the SBA, and you don't meet the requirements because your workers all earn over $100,000 and the funds were just kind of commingled with other funds you have, and you can't trace where the money really went. You'll get the loan, and next year when you're going to be filing your tax returns and hopefully the economy returns, let's say that your business now has closed because it just couldn't withstand the financial downturn. You didn't get enough clients in. You paid your payroll, you paid your employees, but then things didn't turn around for you. And now you want to go to the bank and ask for forgiveness of the loan. And you submit documents, and the bank comes back and the SBA comes back and says, well, you don't meet the requirements. So you have a $100,000 loan, and you're going to probably want to settle with the bank for a lesser amount. Maybe you offer them $10,000 and they write off $90,000. If it's a non-forgivable loan, the portion that is non-forgiven is going to be subject to tax. It's cancellation of debt income. So that's where you have to be very careful when you're applying for these loans to make sure you keep track. Make sure, number one, you comply with the requirements and you're keeping track of your expenses. Otherwise, you might find yourself next year in a position where you might owe tax on any part that you thought was going to be forgivable, but is not. But if, say that under a different scenario, your company does stay open. If it's a non-forgivable loan, then it becomes a loan and you're going to have to repay that. Are you going to be able to pay that back no matter what the interest rate is? If it's $100,000, it's a significant investment for any company. So make sure you have the cash flow and figure out what those payments would be, because the original repayment period was 10 years. I think it's now been reduced down to 2 or 5 years, 2 years. And so, if you're taking $100,000 over 2 years to repay, that's a pretty large sum of money.
What is that? Do we have like
$100,000 over 2 years?
Yeah.
Let's find
out. Hold on.
I don't have a calculator. Do you have a calculator?
Loan repayment.
Well, it's $50,000. It's about $4,500 a month.
Whoa. Okay, that's significant.
Yeah. So imagine having to repay $4,500 a month because of a loan that you took from the bank, backed by the SBA. You thought you were meeting the requirements, but you just didn't keep careful records, and you can't show that the money went to pay payroll, or you can't show that only the people that earn under $100,000 got paid, and the remaining amount would have had to come from somewhere else. There's different variations. You can have, maybe not all of it's forgivable. Maybe the SBA will forgive 80% of it because the other 20% was a non-forgivable portion. Those went to the employees who earned more than $100,000. So that's going to really come out next, when everything comes back, the economy recovers and now people are having to determine whether these are forgivable or not. Then you're really going to have to determine, okay, gosh, do I have the documents and can I show that the money went to the right place? So definitely open a separate bank account. Don't commingle it with your operating funds. But that's going to be a very big thing for companies today to have the proper procedures and how the money is being spent. Anybody in your company who is spending money should understand what those requirements are. If you have a controller, a CFO, make sure you write out procedures for how the money is going to be spent, and make sure it's limited into one account so you're not commingling it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's helpful.
I found it very helpful.
Thank you.
I think I'm much more educated about